I wasn't really in control of what I was doing. I was lost in every sense of the word. Just letting my mind wander to these different places. My music is always like introspective, like completely ripped out of the story of my life. Now it's pretty much all up to me. I'm Janae Aiko, and I'm a writer, singer, poet, and mother. Her eyes stay on this forest, where it sounds like Ao's beckoning. Sounds of nature come in, birds chirping, the breeze rustling leaves, etc. We push into the world outside. The songs that I know, in my mind, I want to hear them in the movie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I wanted to like create an experience. I wanted to create something bigger than just an album or a music video. So I should double, right? Each note. Can I hear that? When I was younger, I wasn't writing my own music. It was a person that was like vocal producing me, and it was 10-hour sessions where, you know, you're there from the night till the morning. And definitely now that's not the case. Now it's go with the flow, go with the vibe.
Sometimes I surprise her with going on stage.
That's true.
After the last song.
And she'll sing with me. She's done that like
Millions of times.
4 times. Who's your favorite rapper?
I have to think about that.
What about boy singer? Justin Bieber.
That is your favorite too.
He's one of them. You want to wash your hands now? I love LA. I love where I'm from. I grew up the youngest of 5. My mom and dad have 5 of us together. 3 girls, 2 boys. We grew up like a pack of wolves. I just like followed along with my brothers and sisters. We were very, very close. My father, both of his parents are mixed race. And then my mother is mixed race. Her father is Japanese. He was born and raised in Compton. I would say he was like the man that we all had to like respect. I think growing up in LA, if you're not black or white, you're Spanish. So it was just like, no one understood. And they would be like, how are you mixed with this and this and this? It just got to a point where people would be like, what are you? And I would be like, I'm a girl. Like, you know, I'm just a person. I didn't really feel like I didn't belong anywhere because I knew that I belonged with my family. My father, he always had a dream of being a singer. He converted the garage into a studio. We would make songs back there. I definitely looked up to my big sisters. They were in a girl group, so I was always seeing them, you know, on the set of videos and getting their makeup and hair done. For me, singing was a hobby, but I never thought that it was something I was good at until I did a talent show. People were like, oh my God, like they were making a big deal out of it. For me, it was more fun, which, you know, I think that's okay because I was a kid and my mom let me be a kid. I was 12 when I signed my first record deal. It was just like very quickly, like a lot. You're going through so much just growing up. I didn't really know what kind of music I should be doing or, you know, what kind of artist I should be. So when I was around like 16, I decided that I wanted to finish high school. School to me was really important to say that I completed something, you know. But I was still working with the producers I had met, like writing and singing demos and stuff like that. In 2008, I got pregnant with my daughter. She made me feel fearless, really. Like, I never doubted that something good would come from it. When I was pregnant, I was like still singing and in the studio. And people would ask me, are you okay with like coming to the studio? Like, can you still sing? And I'm like, yeah, you can still sing when you're pregnant. Like, nothing has to stop. If anything, it was inspiring, and it just gave me like this extra drive that I was like, oh, okay, like life is real right now, you know? After I had her, I got a job at a vegan cafe, and I rented a room at like one of my friend's house. It was so hard. It was so hard. I would like come home and my feet would be like burning, like swollen. I would be like, oh my God, like this is crazy. At that same time, I had started working on a mixtape, my mixtape Selling Souls. And I couldn't do both. You know, I was too tired. And I remember one day I just was like, I can't go back to the restaurant. Like I'm just gonna focus on finishing this mixtape and just see what happens from there. So it was like a leap of faith. I linked up with Fisticuffs, who are an LA-based producer duo. And we really worked hard on it like it was an album. My mixtape was the first time that I was really like, okay, who am I? Let me hone in on that and share it with people. Picking out all the beats and having a say on like what sounds I liked and didn't like. So I felt really proud of it. Like, oh, this is actually me being me. And I feel like we created such an original sound and feeling.
Tell me what you say now. Tell me what you say, come again. If you cannot stay down, then you do not have to pretend.
And everyone was like, you should sell it. Like, you can make money from this. And I was like, no, trust me. Like, this is just, the first foot in. And it got a response that I didn't expect. Everyone loved it. And it just, like, started spreading. And then that's when I started getting calls from labels. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like, people like it. They like this sound. After the mixtape, I signed with No ID and Def Jam. And I just got super busy, and I was still trying to like finish the album that came after. And I just was sort of like in a whirlwind. My brother was my closest male relationship. He loved music. And he put me on to my favorite artists. He would burn CDs. It would be like all these new artists who all ended up blowing up, and they're like big rappers and singers now. That shaped and molded my style. My brother, he was like a big kid. A brain tumor was on his spine. My mom told us what it was. My older sisters actually like quit everything they were doing to be by his side. Me, on the other hand, I sort of was just like, I don't want to even see this. It was like I didn't want to deal with it. When something is like very uncomfortable for me, I'll kind of just be like, oh, this might be like fake. I almost felt like if I didn't give it so much energy into thinking about it, that it would sort of fix itself. He was very joyous. Sorry. I mean, literally down to the last day, I was trying to distract myself with working on music. When I started really realizing, like, okay, this is serious, this is real, I wrote and recorded this song on GarageBand just to express, like, how I was feeling. In my mind, it plays like a movie. That day is when he passed away, like, right after hearing the song. We're still dealing with it. He was like very, very family oriented. He was the one that would always make sure he was somewhere that my mom was like, the family needs to be there. He was the one that was always represented, And so I think we come together because we know that, but it's hard because because he's always missing. So it's almost like easier to just be separate because it was always fun.
Is it strange for me to say that if I were to die today, there's not a thing that I would change? I've lived well. Maybe I have made mistakes and been through my fill
was lost in every sense of the word. Just letting my mind wander to these different places that were really, really dark and trying to find him, you know, and a lover. I equated every guy to him. Are we as close as me and him? Are we laughing as often as me and him are laughing? And I was always disappointed in the guy that I was with because it's like, you're not my brother. And so that led to all these love songs about failed love, which are probably most of my best songs. I start really focusing on the EP and album. Everything started happening really, really fast. Went on tour with Drake, and then he had me on SNL, and then I did Jimmy Fallon. Everything was like back to back to back. Then I performed at the BET Awards. I always like to downplay things. So for me, I was just like, well, the Grammys, you know how the Grammys are. I'm not like super popular. And then they were like, you got nominated for 2. Actually 3. It's for your EP, not even the album. So I was like confused and surprised and happy. But I felt I had been working really hard, and it was definitely something that I appreciated, being recognized for. Before, I would be sad because I would be like, oh, I wish he could see this. But then I get these very strong feelings of him still being a part of me. I'm always creating. I'm always writing. I sort of feel like it's guided by my brother. I mean, he always works his way in my songs on every project. I'll get these ideas, and I really feel like he's beaming me down like all these gems, and I'm like, yes, thank you. I see him and my daughter a lot too. So smart, so beautiful. She teaches me things every day. I just am really a true believer in love. It's everything to me. But I have this theory that the heart has to be broken to open. That's what makes me sad, but that's also what keeps me going. It's him.